Hello and welcome to Optometry online classes. I'm Neha Irfan and today I'm going to talk about ocular trauma rounds. So, what are the ocular trauma? So, I'm starting with a quote. Your best quote that reflects your approach is one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. It's said by Neil Armstrong. So, I'm going to give you an introduction. Ocular trauma is a major cause of preventable major blindness and visual impairment in the world. The Birmingham Eye Trauma Terminology System BETS devised a classification for ocular trauma which is accepted worldwide. We are going to see the types of ocular trauma in this session. So, first, the evaluation of the patient. So, proper history is important, that when, how, where it happened, occupation of the patient, prior status to the trauma, and any ophthalmic surgery. Systemic evaluation is also important and full ocular examination. In case of chemical injury, take quick history and give immediate eye wash and treatment. The classification on the basis of nature are: first, physical trauma, that's perforating, non perforating, and blunt trauma. Second, classic chemical trauma, that's acid, alkali, and the last one is thermal trauma, which is because of heat and cold. Radiation trauma, that's for the ionizing agents or ultraviolet rays, and laser burn and miscellaneous. So classification on the basis of primary evaluations are: first, open globe injuries, that is the full thickness defects on eye coats, and second, closed globe injuries, injuries without full thickness of eye coats. So here is the two pictures. First is for open globe trauma and second one is closed globe trauma. Next, we are going to talk about eyelid trauma. So, first is periocular hematoma, that is the black eye. A black eye consisting of a hematoma or periocular ecchymosis, that is diffuse bruising. And edema is the most common blunt injury to the eyelid or forehead, and it is generally innocuous. So here you can see the periocular hematoma is present on the second picture, and first picture is for the eyelid trauma. Next is the laceration. The presence of a lid laceration, however insignificant, mandates careful exploration of the wound and examination of the globe and adnexal structures. So you are seeing a picture having a child is having a laceration. So what are the types? First is the superficial, lid margin laceration, laceration with mild tissue loss, laceration with extensive tissue loss, and canalicular lacerations. This is a picture of canalicular laceration. Next one is orbital trauma. Blowout fracture of the orbital floor is typically caused by a sudden increase in the orbital pressure. An impacting object that is greater in diameter than the orbital aperture, about 5 centimeters, such as fist or tennis ball. Since the bones of the lateral wall and the roofs are usually able to withstand with trauma, the fracture most frequently involves the floor of the orbit. Occasionally, the medial orbital wall may also be involved. So here you can see the orbital trauma take place. Next, what are the signs? The periocular signs are variable chemosis, edema, occasionally subcutaneous emphysema, and orbital nerve anesthesia is also there, involving the lower lid, cheek, side of nose, upper lip, upper gums, and teeth. It is very common as the fracture frequently involves the infraorbital canal. Diplopia can be present and in ophthalmos. What are the investigations? So his charting, CT scan, MRI, and ultrasonography is most important investigations in the ocular trauma. What is orbital trauma? Medial wall, blowout fracture, roof fracture, and lateral wall fracture. So these are common fractures which can happen in orbital trauma. So this is a picture of orbital hemorrhage. Next, we are going to talk about blunt trauma. Most common causes are squash balls, elastic luggage straps, and champagne corks. Severe blunt trauma to the globe results in the anterior posterior compression and simultaneous expansion in the equatorial plane. Associated with a transient but severe increase in IOP, the impact is primarily absorbed by the lens, iris diaphragm, and in the vitreous space. Damage can also occur at the distant sites such as posterior pole. Extent of ocular damage depends on the severity of trauma. Next, this you can see here is a example of blunt trauma. Next, anterior segment complication for blunt trauma. Corneal abrasions, stromal edema, tears in Descemet's membrane, and corneal complication are some of the anterior segment complications. Posterior segment complications of blunt trauma are a peripheral or central macular hole, choroidal rupture, subretinal hemorrhage, retinal breaks and detachment, traumatic optic neuropathy, and optic nerve avulsion. Next, we are going to talk about penetrating trauma. Penetrating injuries are 3 times more common in males than females. Typically occur in the younger age group. Most frequent causes are assaults, domestic and occupational accidents, and sports. The extent of the injury is determined by the size of the object, its speed at the time of impact, and its composition. Next, we are going to talk about chemical injuries. Majority of the injuries are accidental, few due to assaults. 2/3 of the accidental burns occur at workplace. Alkali burns are twice as common as acid, but alkali burns more severe than acid. So there are the gradings present on the severity of chemical injuries. So in the grade 1 category, there is excellent prognosis, clear cornea, limbal ischemia is nil. Grade 2nd is good prognosis, cornea hazy but visible iris details, limbal ischemia is more than 1/3. Grade 3rd is guarded prognosis, hazy cornea with no iris details, limbal ischemia is 1/3 to 50%. Grade 4 is very good prognosis, opaque cornea with limbal ischemia more than 50%. So what are you going to give the patient education? Use of protective eyewear at workplaces and in its sports activities are important. Use of helmet while riding two-wheelers, parents' education to avoid eye injuries with household items and children. Safety norms should be introduced in workplaces regarding protection of eyes and of course the prevention. So what are the take-home message from this session? Is immediate treatment is directed at preventing further injury or vision loss. Never think of eyes in isolation. Always compare both eyes. Always record visual acuity as it has more important medio-legal implications. A visual acuity of 6.6 doesn't mean that it can exclude a serious eye injury. Beware of the unilateral red eyes, and it is rarely just conjunctivitis. Documentation is very important and use of protective eyewear. So thank you everyone. I hope this would be very informative for you all. If you want to have these kind of video, just comment here, or we will be back with another video on optometry online classes. Thank you so much for listening this.